And here's a look at where markets ended the first trading week of the second half of the year, as June saw a hotter than expected jobs report. The economy adding 206,000 jobs, topping the 190,000 estimate, but down from last month's revised 218,000. The unemployment rate unexpectedly ticked higher, hitting 4.1%. And we got more revisions. April and May showing 111,000 fewer jobs were added than previously reported. Joining me now is former Chrysler and Home Depot chairman Bob Nardelli and Trump economic advisor Steve Moore. And Steve, I want to start with you on these revisions. Month after month, we get new numbers, 111,000 fewer jobs. That's a substantial hit.
Well, it sure is great to be with you, Cheryl, and Bob. A pleasure to be with you as well. And probably nobody has their finger on the pulse of the labor market more than Bob Nardelli. But I will simply say this, that I don't buy this characterization that this is a hot jobs market right now. I think we've definitely shifted into a lower gear. I'm not saying we're headed to a recession, but I am saying the economy is slowing down a lot. We're seeing that both in some of the GDP numbers and also in the employment numbers. One particular problem that I've identified, Cheryl, in the jobs numbers, and there are a lot of problems here, but if you look over the last about 14 or 15 months, the biggest employer, the biggest source of new jobs has come from government and health care. And my goodness, we have a federal government that's running a $2 trillion deficit. They shouldn't be hiring workers. We should be dramatically reducing government employment. So we want to see more of the people who are making things in the American economy getting jobs, but that just isn't happening. So I don't view this as a bright or rosy picture with the labor market right now.
Bob, what is your assessment of the job market right now?
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl, for having me on. And Steve, thank you for the compliment, but you're really the smartest guy on here today. Look, I just want to add to Steve's comments. I call that number, Cheryl, deceptively correct. As you pointed out, every month it gets adjusted. So the 206,000 jobs, again, Steve is right. The second largest employer last year was the government, and they're back on the same track again this year. There is no GDP generated by government jobs. And what was totally absent in that chart you just showed, where's manufacturing? Last month there was 2,000 less manufacturing jobs. The unemployment rate is up year over year. The number of unemployed is up year over year. You know, and this is all attributed to this administration, Cheryl, in my opinion. What I'll call is like inflation is like carbon monoxide. It's the silent killer that's creating job problems and the quality of life. It is pervasive. People are still using dynamic pricing, Steve, to your point, and we're continuing to suffer under reckless spending that's causing these problems in our economy. It's stressing the fault lines in our economy, and whoever gets in that White House next year is going to be hit with a wrecking ball to try and pull this back, Cheryl.
And those are two different types of messages coming from each of our presidential candidates right now. And speaking of, President Biden did announce an executive action earlier this week. The White House extending overtime protections for 1 million salaried workers who make less than $44,000 a year, but that's up over $8,000 from the previous salary minimum. And then on January 1st, the threshold's going to raise again to more than $58,000 per year. Bob, what do you make of this and its effect on this particular segment of the workforce?
Yeah. Well, 2 points on that. I think I saw during your show this past week, you know, $58,000 was the average, and they're saying you almost need $160,000 a year to survive based on the inflation and the cost of living today, point one. Point two, Cheryl, every job has a different wage rate to it, right? And I'm all for cost of living and adjustments for families to have an affordable life. You know, we saw 40% wage increases earlier this year through union negotiations. But this is not equitable. This is not equitable in that if you have a lower skilled job, why are they going to get paid more than someone with higher skills because they're both working a couple of hours of overtime? So again, I'm not sure this is equitable, and I'm not sure this is an appropriate way to increase the standard of living for our families today. I think there's other things we should be doing. Steve's point, we got to pull back on this reckless spending. We got to get inflation under control. I saw today, Steve, where automobiles, the auto industry is going to lower prices to try and offset the interest rate people have to pay for cars. And that's just not going to work.
Yeah, and we've been seeing that in the CPI report, to your point, Bob, in particular the cost of auto insurance. And as long as interest rates are sitting where they are, that's going to continue to be a problem. And then, you know, Steve, White House spokesman Andrew Bates earlier this week was touting July 4th gas prices expected to hit the lowest level in 3 years. But get this, in actuality, it was just a 1 cent drop in prices compared to last 4th of July. You have to almost laugh. The Biden administration tapped the SPR again this week. They sold 1 million barrels of oil from the reserve because obviously, Steve, this is a political story. In an election year, you want to keep gas prices lower.
Well, look, when Trump left office, the price of gasoline was somewhere around $2.30 a gallon. Under Biden, over the last 3.5 years, the average price of gas has been about $3.70 a gallon. So you're paying about $1.50 a gallon, basically kind of a Biden gas tax because of his policies. So let's not forget, Cheryl, the first act that Joe Biden put into effect when he was named president was killing the Keystone XL pipeline as part of his war on American energy. So I find that to be indefensible. One other quick thing, when you were talking to Bob about the regulations, you may have seen that just this week Joe Biden said that, you know, what we're going to do about higher grocery prices is we're going to investigate grocery stores. I'm not making this up. Investigate grocery stores for price gouging. I mean, come on, he's blaming the inflation that's due to his, you know, $3 to $4 trillion spending spree on, you know, 7-Eleven stores, grocery stores. Everybody's responsible except for himself.
And that's the gaslighting that we've seen on the policy side. And then, of course, you know, this past week we've gotten more gaslighting on the health of the president and his cognitive abilities. Steve Moore, Bob Nardelli, it's great to speak with both of you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.